Hey everybody, welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games. I am Harry, and before we go any further, please don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to our channel if you're interested in some more board game related content. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough of Legendary, a Marvel deck building game published by Upper Deck, also known as Marvel Legendary. This is a deck building game, as is said in the title, which basically consists of starting your game with a small and weak deck of cards, and throughout the course of the game, acquiring more powerful cards that help you to accomplish your objective, which in this Marvel superhero themed game means defeating some bad guys and some masterminds for the victory. So as you can see here from this box here, there's a lot of wear and tear in this box. This game has been played a lot, and here is the board, and it's in possibly even worse condition. And again, this game has been given lots of love. We have definitely played this game many times. As a matter of fact, you can check the link down below to see my top 10 most played board games of all time, and this definitely ranks there. Legendary Marvel, or Marvel Legendary, has a very special place in my heart because it's one of the games responsible for my transition into the board game hobby. Now, this is what the game looks like set up. Here you have bystanders. Here you have some wounds. I should mention before I go any further that I am playing with the Dark City expansion. So there's content here from the base game, but for the most part, most of the characters that you're going to see here are from the Dark City expansion, which was the first big box expansion to ever come out for Marvel Legendary. In particular, I chose X-Force affiliated heroes, and here I have Strife as the mastermind. And the mastermind is basically the main guy you're trying to overcome. He has his minions and his other sub or inferior villains that will come up throughout the game that you also have to keep at bay, keep in check. But basically these 4 cards here represent 4 different tactics of his that he's trying to overcome. And basically each time you're ready to fight Strife, you defeat him by removing one of these tactics, getting whatever the consequence or the reward is for getting that. And if you defeat him 4 times, that's how you win the game. Right here we have our scheme. And basically the scheme is like the underlying story about this game. And this is what I like so much about Marvel Legendary, that there is a storyline feel to it. So this here basically outlines how the evil mastermind will win the game. This game is totally possible for the bad guy to win. This is technically a cooperative game, even though it's usually labeled as a semi-cooperative game because there are victory points and there can be a winner or an MVP as the rule book describes. But here we have the scheme, which determines how the bad guys win and basically what you have to do to prevent it. So for example, this one here is called Executioner's Song. And what's interesting about all these schemes is that they're all based on actual comic book storylines, usually bigger series that included, you know, several issues worth of story and, you know, crossed over into different issues and so on and so forth. So this one here is called Executioner's Song. We have 8 scheme twists, and basically a scheme twist is a card in the villain deck that basically indicates that you're going to interact with the actual scheme every time those cards come out. We also have 14 hero cards. An extra hero has been added to the villain deck, which is not typical. And in this case, I chose Storm to kind of keep with that mutant X-Force X-Men feel. So Storm is shuffled into this deck. And there are no bystanders in this deck, which usually there are bystanders, a few, shuffled in the villain deck. Another thing I like to point out is that I'm going to be playing this solo, but this is actually going to be a variant from the typical solo. This game does come with an actual, legitimate, official solo rules. But the problem with the solo rules is that you play with a reduced deck of heroes and villains, so you actually don't get to interact with as much content per game, and that kind of is a little disappointing to me. So I found this variant, this player made variant, a fan made variant on BoardGameGeek.com. I can't remember the user's name off the top of my head, but it's pretty easy to find. You can find it on the forums on BGG. And basically the way it works is it allows you to have the full content of what a typical 2-player game would consist of, which basically is 2 villain groups and 5 heroes. And it replaces that that tension that you would need because you're only playing with one player by, instead of flipping over one villain deck card, one card from the villain deck at the beginning of each of your turns, you're going to flip over 2 of those cards. So it's going to expedite things so that intensity of flipping over cards will add to the difficulty that otherwise isn't there because you yourself are buying the cards or acquiring the cards all by yourself. You don't have to share, the wealth of anybody else. So it does end up being pretty balanced, and it's still a pretty difficult game. So let me continue with the scheme twist here. So we have special rules. Whenever you play a hero from the villain deck, that would be Storm, that hero is captured by the closest enemy to the villain deck, as if he or she were a bystander. The villain gets +2 attack, so now the villain costs more to attack. And for each hero it has. When you fight an enemy, gain all the heroes captured by the enemy. So every time I defeat an enemy that's captured Storm, I'm going to get Storm into my discard pile and eventually into my deck. Every time a twist comes out, this says I have to KO all heroes captured by enemies. So any hero that's in the city that's currently captured by an enemy gets KO'd. And then I get to play another card from the villain deck. Evil wins when 9 non-gray cards, and the gray cards basically refer to your starting deck, which are shield agents and shield troops that give you recruit and attack power. There's 2 different currencies in this deck building game, recruit and attack. Recruit helps you to acquire heroes from the headquarters here, which you add to your deck, and the attack power helps you to defeat the villains and the mastermind, which ultimately win you the game. So when 9 non-starter cards, in essence, the other heroes, and there's ways of you KOing your own heroes, so that's something to think about. When 9 of these heroes are KO'd or carried away, a combination of, are carried away because the villains do progress through the city, and eventually if the city fills up, they get pushed out and they escape. If 9 of these in total are KO'd or carried off, evil wins. So that is very, very tough, it sounds, because again, there is going to be the heroes that get KO'd throughout the course of the game, and every once in a while a hero might be captured by a villain that ends up escaping. So it's going to be tough, and it's going to make me think about culling my deck by KOing cards in any way. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got Stripe as the mastermind. We've got Executioner's Song as the scheme twist. We will begin the turn. Here we have the lineup of heroes. And now, as I said, I'm going to flip over 2 cards from the villain deck. And we have a Storm card. And because there's no villain here, she will be captured by the mastermind here. And basically, now he's going to be worth 2 more. All right, so let's flip over the next one. And it's a Master Strike. And the Master Strike, basically every time a Master Strike card comes out, it makes you interact with the main card here of the mastermind. And each mastermind has a unique Master Strike, a way that he or she can hurt and affect the good guys. So here it says, stack this Master Strike next to Strife. And he gets +1 attack for each Master Strike stacked next to him. Each player reveals an X-Force hero or discards a card at random. So basically 2 things are going to happen. He's going to hurt you in the sense that if you don't have X-Force cards in your hand, he's going to make you discard a card at random. And also, each Master Strike is going to make him cost 1 more, because he actually starts at a pretty decent price. He only costs 7, which for a Mastermind is as low as it gets. But now, because of this Master Strike, he is already at 8. And because it's early on in the game and I just have my starter deck, I know for a fact that I do not have any X-Force cards, which means I will be forced to discard a card at random, and I might as well discard it right now. So I'll choose this card, and it's this guy, this Shield Trooper, which is worth 1 attack. So I've lost him from my hand, which is fine because there's no villains to defeat anyways, and I cannot defeat a Mastermind so early on in the game. It's just not feasible. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these Shield Agent cards, which are each worth 1 recruit. And I have this leftover Shield Trooper, which is worth 1 attack. So I have 4 recruit. And what I'm going to do with that 4 recruit is I'm actually going to gain 2 cards, because I want to gain 2 cards. I'm going to gain this guy here. So So this is a Colossus card, says draw the fire. It's interesting because for only one, it gives me 3 attack, which is really, really good for just one. However, each time I play this card, I'm going to gain a wound. So that's something to factor in. Wounds are basically duds in your deck that clog up your deck. So I am going to get this guy. And the way it works with this solo variant is usually when you buy a card or acquire a card from the headquarters, you grab the next card and you just replace it at its spot. But however, in this game, what you do is you actually slide it towards the left, because at the beginning of each subsequent turn, the card that is to the leftmost spot in the headquarters is gonna be eliminated. Now, because I'm playing with this this mastermind, this scheme, I'm gonna separate these cards and have them in a different KO pile, because basically in 9 turns I'm gonna have 9 heroes KO'd. So this is gonna be separate to the game. It's not gonna factor in the actual scheme, but it's gonna factor in my decision-making processes, because now that I know that the leftmost card is, you know, in jeopardy, I can't flirt around or play around or stall in buying that card if I'm very interested in it. If I'm interested in it, I'm gonna have to try to get it as soon as possible, right? Because that kind of recreates the tension again of playing a solo deck building game where nobody else is vying for the same type of cards that you are. So we're sliding everything up to the left and replacing this card here. And now I still have 3 recruit left to get a card. And I'm debating between these two. This guy's about to go away. And this guy, he's a pretty good card. However, it's good to have recruit, especially early on, because there are some expensive cards here. And later on in the game, if you really want to have powerful cards, you have to be able to afford those powerful cards. And those powerful heroes are going to cost lots of recruit points. And your starting deck only has weak recruit cards. So I'm going to get this card here. This is a cable card, Disaster Survivalist. And not only does it give me 2 recruits, but when a Master Strike is played, before it takes effect, I can discard this card if I have it in my hand. And if I do, I draw 3 extra cards at the end of this turn. So it doesn't necessarily nullify or cancel out the Master Strike, but basically I get a reward if the Master Strike coincides with a turn in which I have this card. So these are the 2 cards that I'm going to buy for my turn. Again, we slide this here to the left, and I draw a new hand of 6 cards. It's always a hand of 6 unless some other rule otherwise affects it. It's a hand of 6 for your new turn in this game. So now we will begin with the next turn. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this Forge card here. And again, I'm going to have it in a separate pile. It's not going to count towards the 9 that will lead to the victory of evil here. And I will slide it over and replace a new card. And there's some really expensive cards. This Colossus guy, he's 8, and he's going to go soon, and I'm not going to be able to afford him, which is too bad. But this Cable for 6 and this Wolverine for 7 are cards that I hope to be able to get sometime in the future. So now I will draw 1 card from the villain deck, and it's one of these henchmen here. These are the Phalanx henchmen, and they cost 3 to defeat. And whenever I fight them, I have to reveal a black hero. That there's each of the different hero cards has a different color, which is a different like class of sorts. And basically, if I have a black hero, if I reveal one, I do not have to KO one of my heroes with an attack icon. But if I can't reveal a black hero on the turn that I defeat this, then I will have to KO a card that has an attack icon on it. So that's something to factor in if I ever can defeat this guy. So on this turn, that's not an option because I only have 2 shield troopers here. So that's only 2 attack. But again, I have 4 recruit as I had last turn. And I think I'm going to get this Wolverine card, No Mercy. It lets me draw a card, and I could KO a card from my hand or my discard pile. And again, KOing can be very, very helpful because by KOing, you can call your deck of really, really weak cards, which typically in a deck building game, and especially Marvel Legendary, is a very optimal strategy. However, I cannot abuse of this either in this game because remember, 9 KO'd cards and I lose the game. So if I KO too many of these, then Evil's not going to have to work too hard to do that. So I'm actually going to consider, do I want to do that? Well, I can't afford anything else. You know what? This is a tough one. I'm actually going to leave this here. It'll also serve as a buffer to leave this cable card here for a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to get that. And instead, there's always this stack here of Shield Officers, Maria Hill cards. And basically, this is when you cannot afford something or aren't interested in anything else, but you want to consider getting a recruit card. This is basically 2 recruit. So I'm going to get this card for 3, and that's all I can afford, and I am done. And now we move on to the next turn. Again, we flip over a card. It's another Phalanx henchman here. This one slides over to the bank. This one's now in the sewers. And now, due to the solo variant, Colossus is out of here. We slide everything to the left. I am done. I have no deck, so I have to take my discard pile and shuffle it and draw a new hand of 6 cards. All right, so let us see what I can do here. I really hope that I can get this cable card before it goes away, because he is going to go away soon. Alrighty. So, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so I've got this card here, which is going to make me gain a wound, as I mentioned earlier. So the wound goes into my discard pile, and that gives me 3 attack. And I also have 2 Shield Troopers, which gives me a total of 5 attack. And now I've got 5 recruit as well. So I'm going to choose to get this Forge card right here with my 5 recruit. 5 recruit Overdrive. So this is versatile. The way versatile text works is it says versatile 3. So it means you can choose whatever number comes after the word versatile, which in this case is a 3, to make it either recruit or attack on a given turn. It cannot be both, but on a given turn, you make the decision according to what's in front of you and what direction you're trying to go into, what you're preferring to have on that specific turn. Do you need attack? Do you need recruit? And you get to make your choice. So again, this is a versatile card, very, very helpful. So I'm gonna use my 5 to get this. That goes into my discard pile. And again, I have 5 attack. Nothing here is worth 5 attack, but I can get this. And I am gonna get this because I'm gonna get this Phalanx, because if I reveal a black hero, and right here, this is a black hero, so the border around the card is black, and it also has this little chip here, which each class not only has a color that's signified by the border, but it also has a little symbol. So because I have this cable card on this turn, I do not have to suffer the casualty of KOing a card, which again is very important, because for this particular scheme, you suffer and you lose if X amount or 9 heroes are KO'd and or escape. Usually on a typical Marvel Legendary game, you're gonna want to KO really weak cards, right? Your starter cards. But in this case, you're gonna have to think twice about it. So that's it for that turn. We slide everything over here, and on the beginning of the next turn, we KO this Wolverine card, slide everything this way. And we add this Vertigo player here. Okay. All right. So here it says each player discards all the cards in their hand and then draws that many cards as they discarded. So I will draw my hand for this turn, which is 6, and I will discard those 6, and now I will draw 6 more cards. So basically that hurts you if you were going to have a really good turn right then and there. You would be very, very frustrated. If you weren't going to have a good turn, you might actually be very pleased with the fact that Vertigo made you discard those cards. So I only have 3 cards left in my deck. I got to shuffle and get 3 more cards. I really hope I don't get that wound that I gained earlier from Colossus. And I really got to find a way to maybe KO those wounds that Colossus gets you. I'm sure there's a card here that will help me with that. So 4, 5, and 6. Here we go. All right, so I gained that Colossus card again. That helps me gain a wound, but it gives me 3 attack at the moment. And I have 2 more shield troops for a total of 5. And I have a total of 3 recruit, which means I'm not going to be able to afford cable here. But I'm thinking of getting this Colossus card here with 2 recruit. Not only that, but it says if you would gain a wound, you may discard this card instead. And if you do, draw 2 cards. So if I have this invulnerability card of Colossus combined on the same turn as draw their fire, that would be very helpful because I would get the benefit of the 3 attack from that card without having to gain wounds. And even though I have to discard this card allows me to draw 2 more cards. So chances are those 2 cards can be very helpful. So that's what I'm going to do as far as that, recruiting this card. But I still have 5 attack. And with those 5 attack, I'm actually going to defeat Vertigo here. Okay. So here we go. We will slide these over. And at the beginning of the next turn, I got to get rid of this cable card, which hurts. It really, really hurts. And we add another card from the villain deck, and we have Blockbuster here. And Blockbuster has an ambush effect, which means whenever he comes in, if there's a villain in the bank, that villain and Blockbuster each capture a bystander. But there is no villain in the bank, so we're fine. Oh, no, there is. I'm sorry. This is the bank. There is a villain in the bank. Okay, sorry. So they're each going to capture a bystander, and I'll just slide them over here. And Blockbuster, by the way, has 2 more attack costs for each bystander he has. So instead of him being 4, now because he has a bystander, he'll be 6. And remember, if any storms come out and are captured, that is basically an additional bystander. So I draw my hand of 6 cards, and let us see what I'm going to do. Ooh, this is going to be a good turn, guys. I'm going to use this 2 recruit right here, plus these 3 shield agents as 5 more. And I'm going to use this versatile. And instead of using it as attack, I'm going to use it as recruit to give me a total of 8 recruit, which is more than enough to buy this Wolverine Reckless Abandon card. And basically, not only does it give me 3 attack every time I play it, but it says count the number of extra cards you drew this turn and draw that many cards. So basically, this allows me to repeat all the draws that I've already done in that current turn. So this is a great card to combo with other cards that help you to draw cards. So that's something I have to keep in mind. So I will get this here. And that's all I'm going to do because I do not have enough attack power to defeat anybody. So we'll move all of these over here. Okay. And we'll do this. And now I have to KO this card, which sucks because it's a good draw card to combo with that Wolverine card I already bought. We'll slide everything this way. And we'll add... Oh, I've been forgetting. Oh, man. I've forgotten my own... Well, it's not my own variant. The variant that I'm trying to play with, which is adding 2 villains from the villain deck. I haven't done it the last couple turns. I am sorry. I apologize for that, folks. I'm going to recreate this and make it so... Oh, here's a scheme twist. Because I do not want to benefit off of my mistake by making the game easier than it should be. So the scheme twist here, again, when it comes out, so it says each hero is captured by, it says you KO all heroes captured by enemies. So this hero and this hero, these 2 storms, were captured, unfortunately for me, and they will go to the KO pile. So that's already 2 storms that have been KO'd, okay? All right. And now, let's see. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 1 more card to come out. And that's this one. Okay. And this is Scalp Hunter. And with Scalp Hunter, he has an ambush effect as well. Each player chooses a bystander from their victory pile, and Scalp Hunter captures those bystanders. Well, guess what? I happen to not have any bystanders in my victory pile, so he will not benefit from that. Okay, so there's that. So we're back up to speed. Sorry about that, folks. I was feeling a little bit better about my chances since I was keeping the city cleared, but just like that, the city has 4 people in it. Okay, so let us do this. All right. Oh, and by the way, the twist makes me play another card from the villain deck. So now it's really full. All right. Jam-packed. I have no room for error here. So if I don't have enough attack to defeat at least one guy, it's going to be quite the turn here. All right, so here I have my 6 cards, and I had to have drawn my wound. Terrible. All right, I have this shield officer, Maria Hill, and 2 shield agents for a total of 4 recruit. And I also have 4 attack. So, first of all, I'm going to use my 4 recruit to get this Wolverine card here. It says if you draw any extra cards this turn, you get +2 attack. So this could be very helpful if combined with other attack cards. And the thing is, other draw cards. The thing is, I need to get some attack in my deck. I've already gotten a decent amount of recruit, so I need to start adding some attack to my deck. So I'm going to get that. That goes into my discard pile. And with my 4 attack, I'm going to attack this phalanx here. There's 3 phalanxes, but this one has a bystander, so I might benefit either from the victory points underneath or there's a special bystander, some special ability. So I'm going to get this. I do not have any black heroes from that black class, so I will have to KO a hero with an icon. So I will KO this one right here. But this is a gray card. So, and that's something I've also forgotten as I've been telling myself to not call starting cards. And it's that non-gray cards or gray cards don't count towards the total of 9. The total of 9 specifies non-gray cards. So I can call these starting deck cards because they are gray cards and they will not count towards the 9 to lose the game. So I gain Phalanx here and I gain a regular old bystander there. Okay, and now we are done with this turn. Okay, so we slide these over and this domino card will be set aside. We will flip over 2 cards from here. Again, this is Blockbuster. If his ambush, if there's a villain in the bank, which there is, the villain in the bank and Blockbuster each gain a bystander. And then I got to flip over 1 more card. And it's a Storm, which goes underneath this Blockbuster card, which now he's worth 2 more for each bystander he has. So he's actually worth a total of 8. This guy is going to be tough to deal with. All right, so let me draw a new hand of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And see what I could do this turn. So, wow, I have no attack, but I do have a good amount of recruit. I have 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 recruit. 7 recruit. So I'm actually going to... this guy's pretty good here. Because he could be both recruit and attack. You know what? The thing is, if I get him, I can't get any more cards. While if I get these 2, for example, I could get a total of 7 there. So this lets me discard a card. If you do, I draw 2 cards. This could be very helpful if combined with the Wolverine card. And this one, if I played a black card before it, any villain you fight in the sewer this turn gets -2 attack. So lots of the cards in Marvel Legendary, they will combo with one another. They'll have a symbol before a text. And basically what it's telling you is if you've played a card, prior to playing this current card, if you've played a card with the symbol indicated here, then you've activated this effect on the text here. So the order in which you play your cards, especially in Marvel Legendary, is very, very crucial. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get 2 cards because this is hard to pass up on. Let me get 2 good cards instead of 1 really good one. I'll get 2. I'll slide these over, and there's unfortunately for me nothing that I could do in the city as far as the villains are concerned. So we will move on, and again, based on the variant, I get rid of the leftmost hero there. Replace this here, slide everything else over, and I'm going to flip over 2 cards. The first one is this Wild Side villain, which would be the 6th villain in the city, which forces this Blockbuster card to escape. Now, every time a villain escapes from the city, there are casualties, there's consequences. First of all, the heroes must choose to KO a card from the lineup that costs 6 or less. So that's painful because, again, that is gonna indeed contribute to the end game condition of evil winning the game. So I got to pick one of these that costs 6 or less. I'm actually going to pick this Colossus card right there. Slide everything else over. And also, because he escaped with a bystander, the casualty is you must discard one of the cards from your hands, and you choose which one, because of that escape. So I'm going to discard one. Ooh, this is really tough. This is really, really tough. I'm going to discard this one right here. All right. So, and now we will flip over the second card because that was just the first card. And it's this card here, Rainfire. And again, this will make everything slide over this way, and it forces that card to escape, the Phalanx card. And again, it forces me to KO one of these cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to KO this guy right here. So that is really, really bad news because, sorry about that, because now we have 4 heroes that are in the KO pile. And again, only 9 of them have to be KO'd and or escape. And I lose the game. So let's see what my turn's going to look like. So first of all, I have this Forge card with versatility or versatile. And I'm going to choose to make him attack, because I desperately need to interact with this area here. And I have 3 recruit after that. With those 3 recruit, I'm going to get this Wolverine card, which is going to be very helpful because it's going to help me draw cards, which I could combo with the other Wolverine I bought. And then with my 4 attack, I'm going to get this guy right here, who's only 4. He would be more if he had any bystanders, but he doesn't. So I'm going to get this Scalp Hunter here for 4, and at least clear up the city a little bit. And we slide everything over. And this is pretty much the gist of Marvel Legendary. You keep on going. This game is typically maybe a 40-minute experience. Obviously, as I'm teaching and explaining, that takes up some of the time. But you keep on doing this until eventually you're either powerful enough to defeat the Mastermind 4 times, capturing a tactic of his each time you do, or until the losing condition is triggered by the scheme, which in this case would be 9 heroes escaping and or being KO'd. And that's pretty much the gist of it. This is Marvel Legendary. Very fun. If you like deck building games at all, if you play deck building games, you would like this game. I strongly encourage you to get it. Also, if you are a big fan of Marvel superheroes or the comic book genre, I think you would like this game. Even if you've never played a deck builder, even if deck builders are not your cup of tea, even if you've never even played many, many games. When I first played this game, I had very little gaming experience with modern board game designs, and I fell in love with this game. So I would recommend this to you if you are a big comic book or Marvel fan, and definitely if you're a deck building fan and a Marvel fan, this is a must buy. This is Marvel Legendary. Thank you so much for joining us here at When Harry Met Board Games. Don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to our channel if you're interested in some more board game related content. You all stay healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.